This idea of chapter one being it starts when I make a conscious effort to get sober. And for me, it took about 4 more months after the decision to actually really be sober and not use anymore. And people outside of recovery don't realize this, but it isn't a choice that we make and just do. Addiction is a process, recovery is a process. And so for a lot of people, myself included, the choice to get sober and to be actually sober is about 4 months in there. And so after those 4 months, I really started to be able to learn and live and to work on myself as a recovered person. This is where the 12 steps fucking shines. This is the moment where avoidance is still necessary. You still need to avoid people, places, things, thoughts, feelings, actions. And now you're being introduced, if you are in the 12 steps, you're being introduced to a community, to sober people, to sober thinking, to sober living. And it's great. It really is such a necessity. And then the end of chapter one for me is when there's a calm chaos. Your life isn't perfect yet, but you are you're no longer in immediate threat of a relapse. You're no longer living by the seam of your pants, where another great way to put it is where avoidance can stop. It can stop. But there's nothing telling us to stop avoiding. Nothing told me to stop avoiding. So even though my chapter one was ending,
right,
I had no idea of what this idea of a chapter, two would include besides avoiding. And so my chapter two was a very good continuation of chapter one of avoiding, but this time I wasn't just avoiding people, places, things that were drug related. I was avoiding people, places, things, thoughts, feelings, actions of every ilk, of chance, of people, of communication, of community, of love, of honesty, all of these things, because in that mindset, I'm stuck in everything that is a risk to me is bad, and I need to avoid it. So a relationship is bad,
right,
because they could hurt me. Going out for a job that I really want is bad because I could fail and I could get hurt.
right.
So eventually, even in this chapter two, where you're no longer in this immediate danger, I was in a perpetual state of isolation. I was depressed. I felt dead. All the things we talked about in the last video was all the migraines. That's a part of my chapter two, because I was still avoiding. That's all I knew, and that's all addicts know. We're not taught or shown another way. Whether it's through the 12 steps, you're still going to these meetings, which is great. You still have a community, but it's as if you hit a wall, and instead of someone saying there's something on the other side of this wall,
right,
or even that this is the end, someone just says, okay, that's the wall's supposed to be there. Accept it. Avoid thinking about going over, around, through. You're at a wall. That's life now.
But what that means is, I think what you're saying is that's depression or anxiety. So the wall is I'm sober and depressed, or I'm sober and anxious, or I'm sober and unable to build a successful relationship. Is it because you're an addict? This is it. This is the best you can hope for. Is that what you're saying?
That is exactly what I'm saying. Yes.
Okay. Well, that sucks, and that's stupid, and fuck that. And I appreciate you clarifying that for me.
Yeah. And that is how many people watching right now, you guys feel, right? We feel that way because like we've talked about in the past couple of videos, you can't see what you can't see. So if you're at a wall and you have a blinder on, so you can't see above it, you can't see around it. It's not that there's something else. It's that, okay, this is where I live now.
All there is.
This is all there is. And so
then you have everyone telling you that's all there is. The community you're operating in also doesn't know that there's more beyond the wall.
And because they weren't told, and this perpetuates that same cycle of you are at 12 steps, you are at SMART or whatever it is, you can build in this space, but only in this space, because there isn't a knowledge of another space. And so, and then the idea of you're not doing it right is
Yes.
told multiple times. Being told that you're miserable because you're not doing the steps right. You're miserable because you're not doing sober right. Or whatever this mentality is brought to us, because I was told that I would never get sober without 12 steps. I proved that wrong. And then when I was miserable, I was like, wow, what am I supposed to do? And people said, because you're doing it wrong. You're doing sober wrong. And so you feel like, wow, I'm so fucked up. I can't even be 7 years sober right. Because it's not that I've made no choice to move forward. There is no forward. There is just what life is shit there, and that's it. Because again, I couldn't see what I couldn't see. I couldn't see what no one knew was there that I was associated with.
Right.
So no one's going to encourage you to search anymore.
Right.
They're just going to look at you and say that you're wrong,
Sure.
and you're going to feel it.
Yeah. Well,
Because
if they didn't say that, then they'd have to look at themselves.
exactly, they have to say, well, maybe I'm wrong.
Or there might be more.
Maybe, yeah, and that's not what humans usually don't like that.
Right.
I sure as
Yeah.
hell did not.
Right. The ego won't accept the possibility that there's something beyond itself.
Yeah, it can't survive.
Yeah, I get it. What you bring to the table is something extraordinary. You bring experience of recovery, and you bring an experience of breaking through the creation of migraines. And so I'm grateful. Thank you very much for the opportunity to be here, to have this interaction with you, and to bring to the world what's truly possible for people who are sober and looking for more.
Yes, thank you. I on that same note, thank you for giving my community, the people I've outlined with for a long time, hope again. The idea of coming to that wall has led to people taking their own lives, relapsing. It's destitute, it's lonely, it's death. And to have some semblance of a door, of a next step that hasn't been there for any of us, is what you're introducing to my community, and what TMD is introducing to my community. And as an ambassador of recovery and the community in TMD now, is thank you for giving us a chance, giving us something that means a chapter 3, not just an end in chapter 2. So thank you.
You got it. I got it. Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you. Yeah, you're welcome.